is Socrates. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Socrates in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's going to wind up a receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Okay, moving in. Sends one on goal, and he scores! And it is a power play goal!
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. That's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. Live from Joseph F. Facina Field in New Rochelle, New York, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the Elite Football Alliance. Tonight, in a battle of unbeaten teams, the New York Bandits host the New Jersey Gravediggers. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and I'll be on the call solo this evening as these two teams look to join the New York Dolphins at 2-0 atop the EFA standings. Our originally scheduled game this week was the matchup between the Hudson Valley Mountaineers and the Empire State Demon Knights. However, due to inclement weather, we were unable to cover that game. There was no coverage for our setup, our cameras, our computers, and audio equipment. Because of that, an audible was called, and we were moved to Facina Field to cover the game between the Gravediggers and the Bandits this evening. Tonight's game is one of two games in the EFA this week, and we mentioned the second game will be taking place in Medford, New York, as the Empire State Demon Knights host the Hudson Valley Mountaineers. That game was our originally scheduled game of the week here on PDF. Inclement weather wiped that out. And here in New Rochelle, it will be the Bandits who look to make it a 2-0 start at home against this Gravediggers squad. As for the Gravediggers, they were last in action back here at Facina Field in Week 1 of the Elite Football Alliance season on August 17th when they faced the Hudson Valley Mountaineers. Before we look ahead to tonight's matchup, we are going to take a look back at some of the highlights from New Jersey's Week 1 victory. A lot to like, specifically quarterback Lamar Johnson. He opened the scoring here on a play that appeared dead on arrival. Instead, Johnson breaking tackles, accelerating up the field, even giving his teammate a high five on the way to the end zone. He scores a touchdown. What a game for him. Fourth down pass attempt from the Mountaineers. Sees a lot of contact on that short passing route. No call, turnover on downs, and very quickly it would be Johnson and the Gravediggers offense striking again. This time Johnson, with his second touchdown carry of the game, makes it 16-0. Another fourth down and an interception here by the Gravediggers defense. We saw some great things from them defensively as well as offensively in this game. Here's some more of that Gravediggers defense early in the second half. Another interception for Jersey in that spot, and they continued to pitch a shutout in this one. Our camera did have issues due to some rainy weather in Week 1. That did not stop Lamar Johnson, I can assure you. He took it all the way to the end zone through the video lag. That was his third touchdown of this game, and with that, the Gravediggers extended their lead. But even with that touchdown, they weren't done yet. Back on offense here, and this is Yuner Budo who took it up the sideline and all the way in for 6 more. The Gravediggers just getting it done on the ground all game long. They were never really forced to put the ball in the air during that game, and it will be interesting to see tonight if they are forced into that position. As you'll see here, once again, Budo with a high-effort run, and he is dealing some blows out of the backfield, and the Mountaineers unable to make the tackle, see him score 6 more, and the Gravediggers put an exclamation point on what was a very decisive win for them back in Week 1. With their victory in Week 1, the Gravediggers certainly made quite the impression during their first EFA game. However, their opponent tonight, the New York Bandits, also made a big statement with their first outing of the season. After losing their final regular season game last year against the New York Legion, the Bandits faced New York in a rematch of that game 2 weekends ago. This time, it was all Bandits, and they scored a big 52-point win to move to 1-0. If their margin of victory over the Legion isn't enough to convince you, you take a look down this Bandits roster, and you will see plenty of new faces and a much more robust roster than we saw last year. Entering the season, many picked them to win the Elite Football Alliance Championship, and they certainly got their season off to a great start against the Legion. So what we will do here is take a look at the Elite Football Alliance standings. And obviously I touched on how impressive these two teams were in their first game of the season, but tonight, one of these teams will suffer their first loss of the season. On the offensive side of the ball, Lamar Johnson, incredibly difficult for the Mountaineers to contain when they face the Gravediggers in Week 1. For the Bandits to have success tonight, they will certainly have to find a way to slow him down. However, it wasn't just the offense led by Johnson that proved to be problematic for the Mountaineers. The Gravediggers' defense also made things incredibly difficult during that Week 1 game, and they picked up the win in that matchup via shutout. The Bandits will also have to contend with all of this to come away with a win tonight, but they certainly appeared up to the task given what we saw from them 2 weeks ago. While we didn't cover that game here on PDF, the Bandits did pick up the win behind a 52-point offensive onslaught and in shutout fashion, as both the offense and defense were dominant against the Legion. With the loss, the Legion fell to 0-2 on the season. Meanwhile, the 0-1 Empire State Demon Knights, who lost to the Dolphins in their first game by just a single point, will face the 0-1 Mountaineers at Granny Road Park tonight. The 2-0 Dolphins have this week off, along with the Legion, before all 6 teams in the Elite Football Alliance return to action next weekend. As for us here on PDF, we are scheduled to cover the New York Dolphins in their rematch against the Empire State Demon Knights next weekend. We will also have high school football on Friday night as Old Bridge High School takes on Piscataway. Finally, it's a doubleheader on September 20th as we have both Old Bridge Knights football and Rockets Hockey Club of the U.S. Premier Hockey League. And this game tonight was scheduled for a 6:30 start. We shifted our on-air time back just a few minutes to accommodate for the delay in the start of tonight's game. However, we do expect to be just a couple of minutes away from kickoff. So before kickoff, there are a couple of points I wanted to bring up. I was going to save some of these for during the game this evening, but I will touch on these now as we still await the start of tonight's game. Thus far, in the Elite Football Alliance season, 3 teams have been held without a single point this year, those being the Mountaineers and the Legion among them. Those 2 teams, obviously teams that we covered so far already this year. Meanwhile, 2 teams have not allowed a point this year as well, those being, of course, the Bandits and this Gravediggers team. One of them will allow their first points of the season here tonight, and we will see who that is. So I should say 2 teams without a point, not 3. I misspoke. 2 teams held without a point. 2 other teams have not allowed a single point this year. So it will be interesting to see tonight whether the Bandits can continue what many expect to be an ascension toward the top of the standings this year. I have their roster in front of me, and immediately a very familiar face leaps off the page. Quarterback David Ugarte. We got a good look at Ugarte as part of the New York Gators squad, and we've seen, obviously, Ugarte play in other leagues as well. But Ugarte, a face that we've become very familiar with, and we've covered a lot of his games here on PDF, a left-handed thrower who is also a very capable runner and someone that you have to account for both through the air and on the ground. Ugarte at quarterback for this Bandits team, a Bandits team that many expect to be drastically improved. And going through the roster, a lot of other familiar faces as well. I'm sure we'll say those names later tonight. But this Bandits team coming in with impressive numbers this evening in stark contrast to what we saw last season when they faced the New York Legion in the season finale. They had a very beleaguered roster, not a lot of bodies, and that body, or I should say that group of bodies that did participate in that game, put forth a very valiant effort. Despite some of them having to play on both sides of the ball, they pushed the Legion to the absolute limit. Unfortunately, they were unable to come away with a win in that game as the Legion stole it in the final seconds with a game-clinching touchdown pass during the final minute of that game. So right now, we're about 6 minutes past the originally scheduled start time for tonight's game. So what we're going to do is step off headset for just a few minutes. When we come back, hopefully, we are going to have kickoff in tonight's game between the New York Bandits and the New Jersey Gravediggers. This is PDF Sports Network coverage of the Elite Football Alliance. More coming up shortly.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com. Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network. Approaching kickoff between the New York Bandits and the New Jersey Gravediggers. This game was scheduled for a 6:30 p.m. start, and it looks like we are close. The officials are here. They are positioned at midfield. It looks like they are waiting for the team captains, and they have been waved out onto the field. So taking a look on the side of the Bandits, David Ugarte among the team captains, and have to get the second page of my roster here. Dennis Martinez, offensive lineman, joining him along with wide receiver Jonathan Jenkins, defensive lineman Eladio Kumba, one of the captains, and that group of captains rounded out by number 59, Malachi Herrera Toby. So those five captains for the New York Bandits, sporting navy blue jerseys with silver foil numbers that certainly pop under the lights here at night at Joseph F. Facina Field. But right now, there is a light rain coming down, nothing that will force our camera indoors as of yet. There was rain in the forecast, which is the reason why we moved over to Facina Field rather than covering the game in Medford. But if the rain does become steady enough where we need to get our camera out of the elements, our camera operator will have to move inside. At that time, we will have our white PDF logo screensaver up. You will still hear my voice. The camera feed will just go out for a short time as we relocate our camera operator into the press box. So I did glance away to look at my roster, and it does appear the Bandits will be defending on the left side of the screen. I didn't catch who it was that won the toss and what option they selected in terms of receiving or deferring, but we should find that out momentarily. 5 officials out there on the field right now. The Bandits getting fired up on their sideline, and a robust sideline on the side of New Jersey as well. The Gravediggers showing up in their white uniforms with silver numbers today, a pair of teams sporting silver lettered and numbered uniforms this evening. though there isn't much lettering on the side of the Bandits. Either way, the Gravediggers on the far sideline, the Bandits on the near side on your screen. So the officials now conversing on top of the midfield stripe, and it does look like it will be the Bandits kicking off to get things started, as the tee is going to be placed at about the 30 or 35-yard line. It appears anyway. That's where the kickoff specialist was headed. Jashawn Houston, defensive back and linebacker wearing number 6 for the Bandits, appeared ready to send it away. However, his teammates were still huddled along the near side, getting ready to take the field for the first time. So he returns to that huddle, and the Gravediggers now take the field, getting set to return this opening kick. So once again, a battle of 1-0 teams this evening in Week 3 of the Elite Football Alliance. The Bandits, the home team tonight, of course, playing all of their home games at Joseph F. Facina Field, one of our favorite facilities here on the PDF Sports Network. We covered our first ever EFA games here, and it was our first ever broadcast here on PDF on that day as well. That now coming back over 2 years ago in July of the year 2022. We did not cover the Bandits on that particular day. They did not play on opening weekend that year in the Elite Football Alliance. They also did not play during the Kickoff Classic this year. So we are getting our first look at this Bandit squad here on PDF, and next week we get our first look at the Empire State Demon Knights. And following next weekend, we will have covered all 6 teams in the Elite Football Alliance this season, and we certainly look forward to getting our first look in person at the Demon Knights. The Demon Knights will be in action tonight against Hudson Valley. And if we do get any scoring updates from that game, we'll be sure to share those with you during our game here on PDF. The Bandits ready to send it away. Once again, Jashawn Houston, the kickoff specialist for New York, as the official blows his whistle to get us started here at Joseph F. Facina Field. That kickoff sent deep, and it skips towards the arms of the return man, who then inadvertently knocked the ball out of bounds. Now, is that the quarterback? Lamar Johnson returning. My Gravediggers roster got buried, but Johnson was not wearing his usual number during the first game of the season. He was wearing 0. Typically, he wears number 1, and that was indeed Johnson getting set to return that one. The ball hit off of his palm and traveled out of bounds. So the Gravediggers take over at their own 18-yard line. As I mentioned during the pregame, this offense one that was not forced to pass the ball much during their opening week matchup against the Hudson Valley Mountaineers. Their running back, Yuner Budo, had a really big game in week 1. It is Albert Canty in there wearing number 6 right now. He will be the back joining Johnson on the field, though. Right now, it appears Johnson was headed out wide. He's now moving over to the left. I did mention Johnson wore 0 during week 1. And if that is 0 in the offensive backfield, he may very well be wearing 0 again. Jaquan McCants is listed on the roster as 0. Right now, the man wearing number 1 is split out wide. According to our roster, number 1 should be Lamar Johnson, but keep in mind, Johnson wore 0 during the Week 1 game. We have not been informed of any changes to that roster, so we'll keep an eye on that. As the man wearing number 1 tonight motions into the backfield and takes the handoff, and that very well may have been Johnson, as he gets the edge and is pushed out of bounds, maybe a yard shy of a first down. We'll see if he picked up enough. It looks like they are going to spot him about half a yard short. So Walik Huffin, who did get reps at quarterback during week 1, was under center. So I would presume that Huffin quarterbacked that first play, and Johnson, who is wearing his correct number 1 tonight, was lined up out wide. So Huffin will get the start at quarterback this evening. We'll see if he remains the quarterback and signal caller for the entirety of this game. 2 receivers stacked to the left. Man motioned from the right is number 4, Nasir Adams, another familiar face, and Adams will take it up the middle, and he is lifted off the turf and stood up short of the line to gain. It is now 3rd down and about a yard to go. Johnson was helped up off of the turf, and not necessarily in a friendly manner. He was lifted off the turf, I should say, and carried backwards by this Bandits defense. 3rd down, 1 yard to go. Ball at the Gravediggers' 27-yard line. Once again, Huffin, the quarterback, with 2 receivers stacked out to the left. Looks like he has a tight end and a running back in tight against the line on the right. And they will motion Canty into the backfield. And I think the snap went awry. I couldn't tell if there was a player under center in position for a direct snap. I don't believe so. I think it was just a poor snap. And we also had what appears to be a pre-snap penalty against the Gravediggers there. So they'll back up 5. And it's going to be 3rd down at 6. Third down, 6 to go for the New Jersey offense. The Bandits hoping to force an early 3 and out. That appeared rather unlikely just a few short minutes ago. Albeit a bit less than that. Following that first down snap, the Gravediggers were set up with 3rd and inches. And with the 3rd and medium here, Johnson takes over at quarterback. He is lined up in the shotgun. Johnson will look to run for it. He cuts upfield, lowers his shoulder, and looks to be a yard short yet again. Nice job to rally and make that tackle by the Bandits defense. It looks like at the bottom of that pile was Deshaun Houston. He's helped up off the turf by his teammates, though. Those foil numbers crinkle quite a bit. That may have been the safety wearing number 8. Really tough to tell, though I do believe that was Houston in on that tackle. And now, just as they had 2nd and 1, maybe a bit less than a yard, the Gravediggers will have a 4th and 1, and they will indeed be going for it here. I don't think there was much doubt about that ahead of this snap. Once again, Johnson in the shotgun. Looked like he may have gotten moving a bit early. Johnson takes off, looks to bounce it outside. He has the first down, and a bit more as he's still churning his feet. And finally, he is tackled at about the 32-yard line. That is good for a Gravediggers first down. Now, in the NFL, I'm fairly certain you are not allowed to do what Johnson did on that snap. It looked like he moved his hands in an effort to get the defense off sides. It wasn't much, but I think it worked, and we'll get a look at it here on the replay quickly. If you watch Johnson's hands, and that may have been the tail end of it, so we'll back it up a bit more here. And if you take a look at his hands and body motion, just a bit of movement there, and I think the Bandits may have been drawn into early motion by that maneuver from Johnson. Either way, that play is good for a Gravediggers first down, and following the first down pickup, they take a timeout. So it will be a 1st down and 10 for the Gravediggers from their own 32-yard line, and both teams will get a chance to talk it over here. The Gravediggers, early in their game against the Mountaineers, took off on the ground immediately. And from that point forward, there wasn't much resistance. When they were forced to put the ball in the air, we saw what were, I think in all fairness, their lone blemishes in that game. They had a couple of open passes that fell incomplete when they were forced to put the ball in the air. But outside of that, not really many negatives to speak of in that Week 1 matchup. That being said, it's been quite some time since that game. That game was played now 3 weekends ago. The Gravediggers did not play in Week 2, and then the entire EFA gets a bye for Labor Day weekend. So it's been a while since this Gravediggers team has played in game competition. Huffin back at quarterback in the shotgun. 2 receivers stacked left. Back motioned into the backfield, and they fake the handoff. Huffin looks to throw over the middle, and that ball was perfect. Off the hands of Alshaquan Floyd. So Floyd with a big opportunity there to make a play over the middle, and if he makes that catch, there may have been a potential for a nice run after the fact. Instead, he drops it, and that will bring up 2nd and 10. You do see a defender driving down, but I think on that in route, Floyd had a step, and I don't think the defender was going to be able to take him down if he caught that ball in stride. Could have been big trouble for the Bandits. Instead, the pass falls harmlessly incomplete, 2nd and 10. Huffin once again in the shotgun, throws to Johnson. Johnson makes the catch and picks up about 5. So once again, the Gravediggers stacking a pair of receivers to the outside. And in doing so, that sets up a blocker on the outside for Johnson, who picked up the 5 yards. Once again, Huffin will be in the shotgun. 2 receivers once again stacked wide right. Officially a 3rd down and about 6. Huffin looking left. Tucks it and throws right. Complete. Canty accelerates upfield, breaks a tackle, and fumbles the football. And in the secondary, it is recovered by Xavier Harris. Harris listed as a running back on this roster for the Gravediggers, and he was the only white jersey in the area of that football. I think on that play, Canty saw daylight. He broke the first tackle, accelerated up the field, broke a second tackle, and had one man to beat. But sometime between breaking that second tackle and looking ahead deeper into the secondary, the football came out. And I think it was the second player going in for that tackle who knocked it loose. Trying to get a look at who that was on replay. I believe that was number 59. And that would be Malachi Herrera-Toby, as we mentioned, one of the captains for this Bandits team. And he nearly made a huge play, forcing a turnover right there. Instead, it's 1st and 10. Ball at the Bandits' 44-yard line. Huffin takes the snap, now looking left. He throws downfield into a double team, and that pass is swatted away, incomplete. That was a very dangerous throw into a double team. On the coverage, knocking that ball away was Legend Banks, defensive back for this Bandits squad, and he was one of 2 Bandits in the area on that throw. That pass awfully dangerous, and Huffin and the Gravediggers were lucky to get away with that one. Second and 10. This time it looks like they're going to stack 2 wide to the left. Harris motioned outside, empty backfield. Here comes Johnson now in the offensive backfield. He lines up behind Huffin in the pistol, and they will toss it to him. Johnson cuts inside, lowers his shoulder, and is about a yard or 2 short of the first down. It looked like there was a big collision on that play, and they are waving, at least I thought they were waving for the trainer, but it appears everyone is okay. Johnson lowered the shoulder and was immediately met by DeJuan Skinner. Skinner and Johnson looked to meet helmet to helmet on that play. And you always hold your breath after collisions like that one. The Gravediggers methodically moving the ball upfield on this drive. Once again, a third, I think you'd call this a third medium, 3rd and 4. Maybe closer to a 3rd and short at 3rd and 3. Either way, a manageable 3rd down. And this snap, we'll see Huffin line up in the shotgun to start. Once again, stacked to the right. This time, Canty, the motion man. He's now lined up in the backfield. Bobbled snap, handoff Canty. He looked to bounce it outside, broke the first hit, spins, and does not get enough for the first down. A flag is thrown on the play. There may have been a horse collar tackle. And we'll see what the call is. We'll get a look at it on replay, but immediately it was signaled a penalty against the Bandits, and the official call is a face mask. What an effort by Canty on that play. And you know what? They may have gotten him on the rear of the helmet, which officially is called as a face mask. Either way, the personal foul comes on the tackle, and that will move the Gravediggers offense forward 15 yards as they continue moving down the field on this, their opening drive. For those just joining us, this is the first possession of the game for either team. And you have to think this has taken a large chunk of the first quarter. Canty in motion once again. He lines up behind Huffin in the backfield. Huffin takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and throws. Right side. And a perfect ball is caught for a touchdown. Jameek Williams makes the reception off a great throw from Malik Huffin. The play fake froze the Bandits secondary, and the Gravediggers capitalize. Here's a second look at it. They fake the handoff to Canty, and there you see it on the outside. The corner was caught flat-footed looking into the offensive backfield. That was Darren Rax Glover on the outside, lined up against Williams. And Williams with a nice move to beat his man in combination with that play-action fake. And the Gravediggers are on the board first. It's 6-0. You can't ask for a much better opening drive than that if you're Jersey. Great balance between the pass and the run. They were willing to put it in the air, had a chance for a bigger play earlier through the air. That pass was dropped as that snap is low, and the two-point conversion will fail because of it. Diving back on top of it was Huffin, but no chance to advance that football. So the Gravediggers strike first in this Week 3 EFA matchup as they go in front of the Bandits 6-0. And if you're New York, that has to put you on notice early in this game. They did not allow a single point in their first game against the Legion. And the Gravediggers on their first drive take it straight downfield and score. So the Bandits will be looking to respond when they get the football in just a few moments. And for those tuning in to our coverage of the EFA for the first time, we do not have an official clock being kept on the premises near the press box anyway. The officials keep the time officially down on field level. So we don't know exactly how much time passed on that opening drive. That being said, I would expect there to be probably about maybe 8 minutes left in this opening quarter. That's a guesstimate on my part, but that was a very good opening drive for the Gravediggers, and they showed us a bit of everything. Willingness to run the football, obviously. We saw that in Week 1. Willingness to put it in the air when necessary, utilizing both of their quarterbacks. Johnson, obviously, with a couple of design runs being sent in motion ahead of the snap, a run out of the backfield, a run from the quarterback spot, and Huffin delivers a strike on that play-action pass for the Jersey touchdown. A lot of players getting involved. You love to see that as well if you're a coach. Get as many players touches early in a game as you can. Try and lessen the workload for your workhorses. And taking the lead, not so bad either, as this squib kick is picked up at the Bandits' 32-yard line. On the return, Glover was tackled low, and he was immediately sent down to the turf. You get hit in the wrong spot on a low tackle, and you can go down helmet first into the turf. So with that, the Bandits will take over in pretty decent field position at about their own 37-yard line, make it maybe the 38. Either way, not bad starting field position. Those squib kicks can be very tricky. From time to time, they'll take a bad bounce and be a bit difficult to scoop up, but the Bandits did a good job on that return. And it will be David Ugarte at quarterback for the Bandits to get things started. We also saw David Cruz getting some throws in pregame on the sideline. Ugarte flanked in the backfield by a pair of backs. Two receivers wide right, one to the left. As Ugarte fumbles the snap, he picks it up and takes off and picks up a nice gain on first down. Near disaster for the Bandits on the first snap of the game offensively, as Ugarte bobbled the football, recovered, and then advanced it for a gain of about 6. And off of what was a broken play, the Bandits will go no huddle. Also, you have to love that visor on Ugarte's helmet. He will look to throw here, going deep, right sideline, underthrown and intercepted. Lamar Johnson getting it done on the defensive side of the ball as the Gravediggers once again force a turnover defensively. Ugarte airing it out up the right sideline, underthrew it, and Johnson had an easy one as that ball was put up into double coverage. Johnson at safety on the play, and we saw that in week 1. He doubled as both quarterback and safety for this Gravediggers team, did it all. And early in this game, he has been a major contributor on both sides of the ball, despite just a few minutes having elapsed in this game. We talked a lot about the Gravediggers offense during the pregame, but don't sleep on this defense. In week 1, they forced a barrage of turnovers, a couple of interceptions, a turnover on downs, and made things incredibly difficult for the Mountaineers. Early in this game, they have a takeaway in this first quarter, and they'll go right back to work on offense. Huffin lined up in what would effectively be an empty back pistol set. He's not really in the shotgun, as he will hand off here on first down. Canty with a nice juke to avoid a hit, and he is dragging defenders forward just enough for the first down. They haven't given him the first officially yet, and they will move the chains here. If the Gravediggers are able to hand the ball off and pick up first downs, that will spell trouble for the Bandits in this game. We saw New Jersey wear down Hudson Valley in week 1. A lot of that obviously done on the ground, but defensively, when it mattered most, fourth down and backed up against their own end zone, they made stops. And they didn't need to wait that long to get a stop in this game, as they will have a first down here from their own 40-yard line. Huffin motions Johnson into the offensive backfield, and they will toss it to him once again. Blockers in front of him. He's looking for room. Johnson, patient, reverses field, and lowers his shoulder, takes a defender with him, and picks up 7 on the first down run. What a patient run by Lamar Johnson. A bit reminiscent of Le'Veon Bell, the way he waited behind the line of scrimmage to make his move upfield. And there is an injured player down for the Gravediggers as well. That's offensive lineman number 52, Shane Blathers. Those voices you hear behind me are coming from the soccer field over my shoulder. There is another game going on at the same time behind us, as right now this game is going to be delayed briefly. Now, we also have some words being exchanged. It looks like one of the Gravediggers coaches is very upset with some of the Bandits. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It may have been something to do with that injury late in that play. Maybe they thought that one of the defensive players for the Bandits went low on Blathers, causing that injury. I'm not sure. Always tough to make out exactly what's going on at the bottom of that pile. Taking a look now on the monitor. Don't see anything, but we can replay it, Tyler. Why not? This is that last play. I'm focusing my attention around the middle of the screen here. Well, there was certainly a pileup well after that play had concluded. It looked like Blathers made his way over, maybe in an effort to protect his quarterback, but regardless of the reason, he got up gingerly following the play and has made his way over to the Gravediggers sideline. He is walking well under his own power, so it looks like he'll be fine. Based on the eye test, I think there's a good chance we'll see him again. Gravediggers offense now back in this pistol look with two receivers stacked wide right. Right now, both teams are waiting for the whistle from the officials. Huffin takes the low snap and throws. That pass complete. And keeping his balance and picking up the first down was Xavier Harris. So Harris caught that ball behind the line of scrimmage and was able to use his left arm to maintain his balance and thrust his body forward for the first down. First and 10, New Jersey. Ball now at the Bandits' 47-yard line. And if the Gravediggers were to march downfield and score again, that would be some early statement in this game. They have been impressive thus far. And we have a whistle down on the field. Timeout, Gravediggers. So with that timeout, we're going to step aside and take a quick 30-second break. When we come back, first down, New Jersey. Ball in Bandits territory with the Gravediggers in front, 6-0.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we're back from Facina Field, where the Gravediggers continue their second drive of this game. They scored to open the game and then turned the Bandits over on an interception. Huffin, jump pass, incomplete. He was under pressure early following that snap. Didn't have much time to make a read. Second and 10. We saw a lot of Malik Huffin in the Week 1 game, especially in the second half. Not nearly as much of him in the first half. But he's gotten the job done so far tonight. And most importantly, I think a lot of the time is getting the ball out. Obviously, there was the one pass into a double team. You'd rather get that ball out of bounds. But for the most part, avoiding sacks goes a long way. Avoiding negative plays, a big part of winning games in the EFA. Pre-snap motion once again, it's Adams. Now trips to the left, screen set up, over the head of Johnson, and that could have been intercepted. Legend Banks came screaming down in the flat. And that ball traveled over his head, and not by much. Here's a look at it on replay. I think trips to the left may have alerted the Bandits defense. We've seen a lot of stacked formations to the outside, but on that particular play with three receivers on that left side and no back in the backfield. The New York defense was on high alert, and I think they may have snuffed out that screen pass. It's now 3rd and 10. This is the first 3rd and long of the game for the Gravediggers, and with that, Johnson moves over to the quarterback spot. He will take the snap, and flags fly. False start is the call against the Gravediggers, and that will make it 3rd and 15. So it becomes 3rd down and a bit longer. And if you're the Bandits now, this becomes a situation where you have to get off the field. I don't know if we'd see the Gravediggers punt or if they carry a punter. I would anticipate if it got to 4th and 15 and they had a punter, they might. I don't think you give the Bandits the ball in plus territory if you have a choice. So we will see. If this becomes a 4th and manageable, I don't think there's much doubt they would go for it. Johnson once again in the shotgun. 4 receivers wide. He will look to pass. He avoids the pressure, rolling to his left. Tucks it, runs, accelerates up the field, and he's headed up the sideline, leaps over a defender, and he stepped out of bounds at about the 25. What a run by Lamar Johnson on 3rd and 15. He somehow escaped the pressure, was forced to roll left, broke a tackle, and after that, accelerated into the secondary for a gain of about 20 yards on the play. Perhaps even a bit more than that. Officially, we're going to give him about 25. The ball is spotted at the 26-yard line of the Bandits, and I believe that ball was snapped from the New Jersey 49. Johnson, thus far, cannot be contained, whether we're talking about week 1 or here tonight. Just when it seems like you have him, he finds a way to escape. 1st and 10. Once again, Johnson in the shotgun. This time, he will look to run. Quarterback power and a good tackle in the middle. And the Bandits will need a lot more of that. On that play, it was Maurice Teal, big man in the middle, making the stop on Johnson. And I said it during the week 1 game. If you're going to have any chance of stopping Johnson, your best bet is to keep him between the tackles. Don't let him bounce it to the outside. Don't let him get your defenders into a foot race up the sideline or toward the sidelines, because that's a foot race that he's been winning time and time again. Also, you're more likely to get an opportunity one-on-one against the defender out there, and that's almost an impossible tackle to ask of your defense. Meanwhile, Johnson heading to the bench ahead of this snap. Huffin at quarterback. Low snap again. One-on-one in the end zone. Jump ball thrown, and it is caught for a touchdown. Once again, Jameek Williams from Malik Huffin, and the Gravediggers double their lead. They go in front, 12-0. That time it looked like the Bandits were ready. They had a safety in position waiting in the end zone. It looked like it was going to be a free-for-all. Jump ball in the end zone. Zone coverage on the side of the Bandits. And that ball was just misplayed in the end zone. Williams was going up against Cameron Nicholson in the end zone. And Williams won that battle. Two-point conversion try upcoming. Huffin once again the quarterback. He will throw right and throw incomplete. Pass off the mark. Huffin's passes down the field have been right on target. The crossing route over the middle and the 2 deep balls. We've seen him throw a couple of those short screen passes, and 2 of them of, I believe, the 3 that he's thrown have traveled over the head of the intended target. So the Bandits now find themselves in a 12-point first quarter hole. They are coming off a huge win in their first game. And now we'll have to climb out of a 2-score deficit. We are still in the first quarter. We have to be approaching the end of quarter number 1, you would think. Time being kept on the field by the officials, but of course they will signal once the quarter has come to an end. The whistle blows down on the field. Kicking off will be Xavier Harris. This kick skips to about the 25. On the return, it is Errol James. James gets to the near side and takes a big hit at the end of that play, but it looks like the defender got the worst of it. Khalil Brown a bit slow to get up as that ball is heaved across the field by one of the Bandits. And we know Errol James from his time with the Empire State Demon Knights. Player who plays both sides of the ball. We saw him get some work at safety and at receiver. Believe it, running back as well. He did it all for Empire State, if I remember correctly. Now, there is a flag down on the field, and you have to think that would be for either something that occurred along that Bandit sideline in that scuffle, or perhaps for heaving the ball. So the flag was actually thrown at the spot of the kickoff, and they called a false start on the kicking team. So no personal fouls, though a lot did transpire after that play. They add 5 yards to the end of the kick, or the end of the return, I should say. And the Bandits will start this drive in plus territory at the Gravediggers' 48-yard line. Ugarte in the shotgun, split back set, and they will hand off. No running room on the play. The first tackle was broken, but no chance after that. On the carry was number 32, Tarshay Hollington. And Hollington was stood up for no gain. Perhaps a loss of 1, and it will indeed be a loss of 2. So he broke the initial tackle and then got driven backwards. Forward progress did not get him back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 12 coming up. And I think we may have just reached the end of the first quarter, as the two teams are headed back to their benches and appear to be switching sides. So with that, we will step aside and take a quick 1-minute break, though it looks like we might be getting started quickly, so perhaps we'll keep it right here. Let's see. And we will. That is as quick a break in between quarters as I've ever seen. Not once have I seen two teams switch sides so quickly. Talk about efficiency. Second and 12. Ugarte in the shotgun, one back to his left. He looks right and throws that way. Incomplete. Jonathan Jenkins, the intended target. He was open. Would have been a tough catch. The ball a bit out of his reach. Had he made the catch, he certainly would have been taken down immediately. And that will bring up 3rd and 12. Third and 12. Big spot here for the Bandits. They need to make this, at worst, a 4th and manageable if they can't pick up the first down. Man motioned out of the backfield was Hollington. Ugarte looking that way, and that pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Well, Hollington was all alone on the right sideline. And if Ugarte gets that throw off, that may have been enough for a first down. Instead, that will bring up fourth down. Ugarte communicating with his bench right now, and it looks like he's headed out to the huddle to go for this. So fourth and long. They need 12 for a first down. Ugarte once again in the shotgun, flanked by Devontae Taylor. And timeout has been called by the Gravediggers. So it will be 4th and 12. And we've seen on the pass attempts thus far from the Bandits that if they can get a crowd into the offensive backfield quickly, Ugarte may be prone to making a mistake. We saw on that out route earlier in the drive, the ball off the mark, the throw downfield earlier was intercepted, and then the pass that was tipped fell harmlessly incomplete. But I think you can't sleep on his ability to pick up the football and run here on fourth down, because if you commit too much to the pass, that is going to spell trouble. Fourth and 12 as the Bandits head back out onto the field. The Gravediggers are set defensively. And if they come up with a stop here, they move even more firmly into the driver's seat in this game. They've already turned the Bandits over once. We'll look to do so on downs in this spot. Spread shotgun set, 4 receivers wide. Once again, Taylor in the backfield alongside Ugarte, who will look to throw. He's flushed out right, rolls back left. And they did not contain him, though it looks like they have one man there. He throws, and it falls incomplete. The Bandits want a flag, and they do not get one. Great pursuit on that play by Mikel Dixon, the Gravediggers linebacker. It looked like Ugarte was going to have enough running room to get the first down, but he was chased by Dixon, who forced him to throw the football, and that was the difference between a first down and a throw into a tight window. Now, that throw was off the hands of the receiver. It was a very tough catch. Right now, the officials are discussing something. The Bandits wanted a flag on the play. And I think what happened is the Bandits were hoping to get a flag for some sort of illegal contact. However, Ugarte was outside of the pocket. So I think that flag would have been thrown in error. But watching that in real time, I thought Ugarte had a chance to make a break for the first down, and Dixon denied him. He was the last line of defense for the Gravediggers once Ugarte escaped the backfield. Now, the New Jersey offense takes over right at the midfield stripe, ball at the 50-yard line. Johnson motioned into the backfield. He takes the toss, has blockers in front of him. Johnson up the sideline, makes a man miss, and is finally out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Lamar Johnson, breakaway speed, gains the edge, and once again, with a big run, has set up this Gravediggers offense deep in Bandits territory. Right now, the New York defense struggling to find answers for this Gravediggers running attack. And when New Jersey has put the ball in the air, they found success there as well. And I think that's where you have to be deeply concerned on defense if you're the Bandits. They've passed it well. They've run it well. Once again, the ball on the 32-yard line. The Bandits defense searching for answers, but if they get a stop here, they are firmly in this game. I think right now, if you're New York, what you're hoping for is a 12-6 or a 12-8 game at halftime. with your team receiving the second half kickoff. They have some work to do to get it there. Williams motioned into the offensive backfield. Huffin now brings Canty over. Another low snap. Throw over the middle, complete. Johnson goes up and gets it. First down, Gravediggers. Johnson really doing it all thus far for the Gravediggers offensively. Running it out of the backfield. Running it from the quarterback position. Catching passes. And coming away with interceptions on defense. And the way that this Gravediggers offense has utilized all of their weapons, you can't hone in on him. Williams has the 2 touchdowns. Huffin has thrown 2 great balls. Canty has been heavily involved. You can't narrow your focus to just one player as that snap is low, fumbled, and Huffin gets on top of it, as that has to be the 3rd or 4th snap in this game that has been very poor. Now keep in mind, earlier in the game, the Gravediggers lost their center to an injury. That was Shane Blathers, so perhaps that's playing a role here as well. We've seen several bad snaps. Second down and about 15 from the 21. And with a second and very long here, the Bandits now will hope that they can turn this into a stop. Canty the motion man. And another low snap is covered up by Huffin. All of a sudden, the Gravediggers are in shambles. They have snapped the ball straight into the turf on consecutive plays and have been backed up to a 3rd and about 18 or 19 yards. What looked to be a very promising drive developing has now spiraled out of control. That being said, they converted earlier on a 3rd and long and have not been shy about putting the ball in the air. Johnson also with the ability to run. And he is lined up very deep in the offensive backfield. He creeps a bit closer, but he's about 6 or 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And he will take off up the middle. Breaks one tackle, breaks another, but is taken down at about the 21 or 22 yard line. And right now there is a Bandit down. And this does not look good. Not sure who it is that is currently face down on the turf, but immediately some of the players getting down to a knee. Immediately, number 13, Kenneth Fredericks, realized something was not right. He went down to a knee as soon as he got a look at his fallen teammate. And fortunately, the injured player able to sit back up, and he's helped to his feet. That's number 14, Enrique Bermudez. Bermudez, one of the Bandits' defensive linemen. And he looks to be quite all right, headed for the sideline. He was not moving after he went down, but he looks to be in good spirits and okay, so that's good to see. Maybe a stinger or an injury of that variety. But he's walking around no problem on his sideline. His defense looking to come up with a big stop here and get back in this game. It's 4th down, and the Gravediggers need about 17 yards. Johnson in the shotgun. He will look to throw. He looks left and now looks to run. He takes off, and there are no Bandits in sight. He has the first down, and he has the score. Lamar Johnson on 4th and 17 takes it all the way for a 22-yard touchdown and the Gravediggers go in front by a score of 18-0. These defenses that have faced the Gravediggers thus far have no answer for number one. I thought perhaps he may have stepped out of bounds. The official in the middle immediately signaled touchdown. And the Gravediggers are now in front by 3 scores. If you're the Bandits defensively, you couldn't have asked to be in a much better spot in terms of down and distance, 4th and about 17. And I didn't get a look at it on replay, but you have to think that on that particular play, the Gravediggers sent their receivers from left to right, clearing the way for Johnson, who was left all alone, to take it up that left sideline and in for 6. Two-point try coming up. The Gravediggers 0 for 2 on conversion attempts to this point. Another low snap. Johnson looking to roll left, and he's taken down. On that play, Sergei Mencia made it look easy. And if the Bandits can get more of that, perhaps they can work their way back into it. So the Bandits, when they get it back, will trail by 18. You'd have to think, based on how much time has passed since the start of the second quarter, that we have about, I'd say, half of the quarter remaining. The Bandits now in desperate need of points. I wouldn't say this drive is a must score yet, but the Bandits certainly have to score next. Looks like they're waiting for a football and a tee. And they do get one from the sideline. Once again, it will be Xavier Harris to send it away. Harris sends it deep. And the return man will be number 27, Terrell Christian. Christian has blocking. He's up the near side and out of bounds, just shy of midfield. So Christian with a nice run back and some good blocking in front of him. Sets the Bandits up in good field position. Now in desperate need of a score. The Bandits have yet to pick up a first down in this game. On their second snap, the pass was intercepted up the right sideline. And then they turned it over on downs on their following drive. They did have chances on drive number 2. A pass that was swatted at the line, a misfire on one pass, and a tough chance on 4th down was dropped after Ugarte was flushed out of the pocket. 1st and 10 in plus territory. Ball at the Gravediggers 46, and they will hand it off up the middle for a loss of a yard. That defensive front for the Gravediggers has been impressive tonight. They've put pressure on Ugarte when he's looked to pass and have not allowed anything in the running game. Saheem Farrar and David Smith in on that last tackle, and that will bring up 2nd down and about 11. Ugarte looking right, throws that way. Complete. A nice grab there going down to the turf by Errol James, who justifiably is listed on the roster as an athlete. As I mentioned before, we've covered him as part of the Empire State Demon Knights. He does it all. And went down low to make that catch. And with that, the Bandits have picked up their first down. 1st and 10. Ball at the Gravediggers 31. Ugarte under center here. And that's going to be a false start. We don't see many teams line up under center offensively. A lot of pistol, a lot of shotgun, but outside of the Demon Knights, we haven't seen much single back covering the EFA. And with that pre-snap penalty, the Bandits move right back into the shotgun. 4 receivers spread. 1 man in the backfield, low snap. Ugarte scoops it up. Looking left, under pressure, gets away. Heaves it downfield and out of bounds. The intended target on the play, Jonathan Jenkins. And that will bring up 2nd and 15. Ugarte, in this game, on more than one occasion, has been forced to run for his life. And we know about his escapability. We know about his ability to make throws on the move and to make defenders miss. But he's been taxed heavily in this first half. 2nd and 15. Another low snap. Ugarte throws right, nearly intercepted. That was awfully close. Closing in was number 12, Khalid Brown. And Brown, if he makes that interception, might have had a chance to take it back the other way for 6. On those underneath passes, something I've noticed, Ugarte's release just a bit on the longer side. And near the line of scrimmage, that makes a big difference. It's now 3rd and 15. Empty backfield, Ugarte steps forward through the pocket and takes off. He will look to run for it, breaks 1 tackle. He's inside the 25 and out of bounds, just short of a first down. He needed 15. He got maybe 14 and a half. 4th down. Though the sticks incorrectly read first down, it is 4th down. And the official is going to correct those sticks now. Well, now the sticks say 3rd down. It is not 3rd down. It is 4th down. Ugarte looking right, throwing end zone. Incomplete. A bit surprised to see them take a shot on 4th and 1. Though perhaps the sticks were correct. Tyler, should it have been 3rd down? Well, Tyler, I had that as being 4th down. Maybe I made a mistake because the sticks now read 4th down and the offense is still out there. So did you have to skip it down on our graphic at any point? I'm not sure exactly. All right. This is 4th down. So we must have had it wrong up here in the booth. Ugarte in trouble, and he is sacked. So that will be a turnover on downs. And Tyler, go back on the video and see if we messed up. You can go back on the live stream and see, because I had that, without a doubt, as being 4th down. I'm trying to recall the plays they had on 1st down. They had the pre-snap penalty. So if you go back a little bit further, let's go back a little bit further here. There's the flag. So that's 1st down. Incomplete pass. Second down. This is 2nd and 15 now. Low snap. Incomplete. So that's 3rd down. And then the run by Ugarte should have set up 4th down. So they had 5 downs. They had 5 downs. Unless we missed something, they had 5 downs. So maybe we missed a flag that negated one of those plays. That is possible. That there was a flag there that negated one of those downs and we missed it. I don't think so. I did not see any flags. But assuming there were no flags, the Bandits just had 5 downs. If that was the case, it still was not enough. And the Gravediggers take over, leading by 18. They will look to throw on 1st down. Huffman in trouble, got it away, and it was fumbled into the arms of another Gravedigger. I don't know if that was pitched or fumbled. Either way, the ball popped out into the air and into the arms of Canty. The live chat agrees they had an extra play. Not exactly sure what happened with that fumble. Maybe that replay provides some clarity, but that was an awfully unusual way for that play to come to an end. It will be 2nd down and about 12. And if the Bandits defense can't get the Gravediggers off the field quickly, this might be the final possession of this first half. It has been all New Jersey thus far. A score here could really put this game out of reach if they go in front by 4 possessions. They would need to convert on the 2-point try to make that happen. Another low snap, pitch, Canty in trouble. And he is stood up well behind the line of scrimmage. That's a loss of 3 more. This Bandits defense playing with energy here. They've been helped along by some bad snaps, but I think the injury at center is really hampering the Gravediggers offensively right now. They lost their center earlier in this game, and I think that's really hurt them. It's now 3rd and long, officially 3rd and about 13 or 14. Ball at the Jersey 30-yard line. And we will see if they don't get this, would they go for it again this deep in their own territory? Johnson is back at quarterback. And looking back to week 1, I think we may have seen him attempt 1 pass, maybe 2. Huffman has done much of the passing. Johnson has not thrown many passes. I don't want to say that you commit your entire defense to the run here, but sometimes man-to-man makes it easier for the quarterback to run. And I think right now, if you're the Bandits, you're in a really, really tough spot. I'm almost inclined to say you sell out and try and blitz him and tackle him in the backfield. But that's much easier said than done. We'll see what the Bandits do here. If they did elect to bring pressure and Johnson escaped, that's a probable touchdown. Unsurprisingly, the Gravediggers spread the field. The Bandits do have a spy. Johnson takes off, and he's met by 2 New York defenders. He didn't gain much there. It will be 4th down and 13 to go. There was a pre-snap penalty that backed them up 5 ahead of that last play. I would not be shocked if the Gravediggers spread the field again and maybe have Johnson take a step or 2 forward before trying to throw the ball. Then if nothing's there, he could take off. That's assuming, of course, that they go for it. I don't think it is by any means certain that they will go for it in the spot. I think a lot of it comes down to whether or not they have a punter. Johnson is out there. I do not see Willie Cuffin. So Johnson will line up a quarterback. He might be the one to punt this. Obviously, the threat of him to run still very much is there. And he will run it. He fakes the punt and will run it. And the Bandits are ready for it. But he stumbles forward, and he made that a lot closer than I expected. He is short, but I thought for sure they had him with no chance to pick up the first. Johnson did not quit on the play, lowered his shoulder, and tried for some more at the end of that run. So no punter, no kicker on the side of the Gravediggers. Also, there is a flag at the end of the play. Flag down. And we will see what comes of this. The Bandits' offense is headed out there, so it looks like it will be New York football. Discussion still ongoing between some Bandits coaches and the officials. There was not yet an official signal on the penalty. It does not look like the football has been respotted either. Johnson was pushed out of bounds at the 40. I'm not sure there was one Bandit who believed he was punting that football. That was probably a safe assumption. The Bandits now coming out in I formation as the whistle finally blows to resume play. Ugarte under center. Not sure the deep back has a visible number as they run the triple option. And that goes for maybe 3. So the deep set back on that play was number 22. Tajay Montgomery. 2-minute warning as well following that play. So the Bandits will have 2 minutes, and I think in all likelihood this will be the final possession of the first half. If you're the Bandits, you certainly hope so, whether you score or not. If New York can punch it in here, they would go into the half trailing by no more than 12 and would be receiving the second half kickoff. Strong I formation here. And the handoff goes to the fullback with some running room. And a huge hit at the end of that play. But not before big number 23, Devontae Taylor, picks up a first down. The Bandits, players out there on offense trying to energize that sideline right now. You can hear it getting a bit more noisy out there. And this team really needs a score to ignite them. Another empty possession won't do it. 1st and 10. Ball at the Gravediggers 20-yard line. High snap, fake handoff. Ugarte pump fakes. I thought he was about to let that one rip. Instead, he takes off. He has the first down and more. And he keeps on fighting all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. David Ugarte showing off that escapability once again. I thought for sure he was about to let it rip over the middle. Instead, he tucks the football, runs, gets to the outside, and broke a series of tackles inside the 10 on his way to a 20-yard rushing touchdown. The Bandits get the score they needed. The question now remains, did they leave the Gravediggers with enough time to respond here in this first half? A conversion here would be big because if they do convert, that would guarantee you a lead behind a pair of touchdowns. That, of course, assuming you don't allow any more points. But the Gravediggers are 0 for 3 on 2-point tries. If you're the Bandits now, you need just one. And then, obviously, if you match the 3 Gravedigger touchdowns, you've taken the lead. Still a long way to go before that becomes a critical point. Ugarte will look to run it in. He stood up and will not get it. No chance. So the Bandits fail on the 2-point conversion attempt. And the Gravediggers, once they receive the kickoff, will probably have a bit over a minute. New York really struggled for much of this half, but they continued to maintain a high energy level on defense. Finally got off the field following the stop on 4th down. And then their offense continued to ride that wave of momentum and put the ball in the end zone. I think the issues that the Gravediggers are having right now at center could become a very big problem should the Bandits get to within a score. Because effectively, it becomes stop Johnson from running the football, and you don't have to worry about much else if they can't snap the football. Huffin won't have a chance to throw if he can't receive a clean snap, and handoffs become that much more problematic if the quarterback doesn't receive the ball cleanly. So a lot right now is riding on the ability of the Gravediggers to snap the football. And if you're the Bandits here, I believe you have all of your timeouts. I know the Gravediggers have used all of theirs. The Bandits should have 3 timeouts if our tally is correct. Johnson on the return has stood up at the 40 and slammed down to the turf. So if you're the Bandits here and the Gravediggers can't snap the football, you can use your timeouts and perhaps steal one more possession. If you're the Gravediggers, I think you're looking to do what you would have liked to do on the last drive, bleed out the rest of this first half. As once again, we had a football punted from sideline to sideline, this time in the direction of the Bandits. I think priority number 1 here, if you're New Jersey, positive plays that get you 1 first down and get this game to halftime. Take your 2-score lead into the break. Hopefully, if you're the Gravediggers, you can rectify these issues snapping the football. And then maybe you come out in the second half, get a stop, and put this game away. Meanwhile, if the Bandits were to come out and score, all of a sudden, we could very well have a 1-possession game. So a lot riding on this possession here to get us to the locker room. And if you're the Bandits, I think you'd be okay with that. Get off the field here, not allowing any more points, and give yourself a chance to pull to within 1 score when the second half gets underway. So it looks like the action is finally set to resume. Huffman is in at quarterback. He brings a man over in motion. And on the sweep, they pitch it forward. It's fumbled and recovered by the Bandits. Disaster for the Gravediggers as they fumble on first down. They pitched it forward to Harris on the jet sweep, and he lost the football. The Bandits' defense comes up huge, and all of a sudden, New York has a chance to make this a 1-score game before we reach halftime. It wasn't too long ago we were talking about the potential for the Gravediggers to go ahead by 4 possessions and put this game away. Instead, the Bandits now have a chance to make this a 1-score game before receiving the second half kickoff to open up the third quarter. This New York sideline in front of us has come alive. And they should have some time here. You have to think at least a minute, maybe a bit more. I can't imagine it being any less than that. 1st and 10, ball on the Gravediggers 45. High snap. Ugarte steps forward, throws deep, down the field, man open, and the throw falls incomplete. He had an open man on the goal line, and he overshot him by just about a yard or two. What an opportunity. Errol James was the intended receiver, and Ugarte just missed him. Here's a look at it a second time. Ugarte had a really nice pocket, did a good job to step forward, avoiding any potential pressure from the edge rushers, and he just could not connect with James, who was wide open. The good news is the clock stops. The Bandits still have 3 timeouts, but you know that is one Ugarte would love to have back. 2nd down and 10. Ugarte will look to throw again. Pressure coming. He rolls left. Ugarte takes off up the field. He's across the 40, down to the 35 and out of bounds. And he will pick up a 1st down. He also stops the clock. And the Bandits are now in business here. After a bit of a sluggish start, the Bandits' offense has now come alive, propelled by the legs of David Ugarte, and we've seen this before. One of the most memorable games in the history of the PDF Sports Network saw Ugarte throw a walk-off touchdown after what was an incredible go-ahead game-winning drive in the closing minute. Motion man was Montgomery. Ugarte looking that way. Pump fakes, throws, and that is dropped. James was open, and that pass hit him in the hands. Second down and 10. Once again, time being kept down on the field. I would anticipate the Bandits probably have between 30 and 40 seconds remaining in this half. Perhaps even less than that now. Ugarte also has to be careful. Pressure was coming, the pocket closing in on him. That ball was almost knocked out of his hand on the pump fake. Once again, Montgomery in motion. Ugarte is sacked all the way back at the 47. The Bandits have called timeout, but that is a huge loss on 2nd and 10, as that will back up this New York offense. It appears about 11 yards. And all of a sudden, this drive looking a lot less promising. It will be 3rd down and about 20. The Bandits trailing by 12 here. We're looking to get to within 1 score before halftime now. The road to do so much tougher. New York gets a chance to talk it over here. And you have to think that with the limited amount of time left in this half, in the absence of kicking and punting, they have 2 plays to get this. But that doesn't make it much easier. It is 3rd down and very long. That being said, we've seen plenty of these converted over the course of not only this game, but 2 seasons of covering the EFA. This is now year 3 of our partnership with the Elite Football Alliance here on PDF. Bandits will come out with 4 receivers, 1 man in the backfield. High snap, and a flag flies. This might be a free play. Ugarte is wrapped up and finally taken down. A lot of time came off the clock there as well. If that was indeed a free play, you have to think that Ugarte takes a shot there and heaves it down the field. You'd like to do so quickly if you can, because all the time that comes off the clock during that play stays off the clock. So that play dragging on certainly hurts you, and it was indeed a free play. It was offsides on the defense, so they'll replay third down. It is now 3rd and 15 rather than 3rd and 20. But as I mentioned, very valuable time comes off the clock, and the Bandits may be down to 1 or 2 plays here. Once again, this defensive front for the Gravediggers wreaking havoc on this drive. Ugarte hasn't had much time and has not been able to escape since that first down run. He will look to throw again here. He's flushed out left and throws over the middle incomplete. That will bring up 4th down. The offense for the Bandits will stay out here. And this very well could be the last play of the first half. If it is, you would expect Ugarte to throw it for the end zone. The Bandits have 2 timeouts. They will likely take those into halftime unless there's enough time for more than one play. You'd also think maybe if this is the final play of the half, you would call timeout ahead of this snap, but they did not. Ugarte will look to throw. 4-man rush. Ugarte steps up, heaves it downfield, and it is broken up at the last moment. If Johnson doesn't get a fingertip on that, there is a very good chance that Errol James comes away with a touchdown. That is not the end of the half, as we'll get a look here on the replay. One of 2 Gravediggers in the area may have gotten a hand on that one. Didn't get a look at who the second man in coverage was. That may have been number 12, Collie Brown. But 2 Gravediggers converged on that football. One of them got a hand on it. Could have been Rashad Lattimore as well. 12, 17, both look rather similar at a distance. Really tough to make out those numbers. But either way, a pass breakup on 4th down may have spared the Gravediggers 6 points. And you have to think here that if as little time is left as I would expect, they may try and run it one time or perhaps kneel it to bring us to halftime, and it looks like they are going to kneel it. Though don't be so sure, actually. I was mistaken. There is a pair of receivers wide to the left, so they are going to run it once more, and Johnson is tripped up. And that will do it for the first half. So we will head to halftime. Our score at the break: the New Jersey Gravediggers 18, the New York Bandits 6. Our headset will be muted during halftime. We'll have a quick 2 minutes for our commercial break. And when we come back, you will see our halftime score up on your screen. I will return about a minute or 2 before the start of the third quarter with a brief recap of the first half and a look ahead to half number 2 in this Week 3 Elite Football Alliance matchup between the New Jersey Gravediggers and the New York Bandits. Once again, the Gravediggers lead at the half, 18-6.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
Joe Foreman back with you, checking in during this halftime break in this Elite Football Alliance matchup between the New Jersey Gravediggers and the New York Bandits. High school football, the Elite Football Alliance, the U.S. Premier Hockey League, and Jersey Sharks football among the many different offerings here on the PDF Sports Network. And while we have a break during halftime, we will show you a look at our upcoming schedule in just a few moments, as there are many more events coming up here on PDF in the coming weeks. I mentioned some of those during the pregame show, but we'll get a look at some of those on your screen in just a minute. That being said, obviously the PDF Sports Network streams games via YouTube, and if you would like to have your commercial air on the PDF Sports Network, you can always reach out to us at pdfsportsnet@gmail.com, and for more information on the PDF Sports Network, you can visit pdfsportsnetwork.com. But for us here on PDF, the Elite Football Alliance, a client that will always hold a very special place in our hearts, as they were the first organization to give us an opportunity calling games. And obviously, with our debut covering the Elite Football Alliance in 2022, things really took off beyond that. But here is a look at that upcoming schedule I just mentioned here on PDF. Obviously, you are tuning in to this week's Elite Football Alliance Game of the Week between the New Jersey Gravediggers and the New York Bandits. Next week, we have Old Bridge High School taking on Piscataway High School. That game will be played on Friday night at 7 p.m. Next weekend, in our Elite Football Alliance Game of the Week, once again, we will have the New York Dolphins take on the Empire State Demon Knights in a rematch of Empire State's first game. That was a really good one. The Dolphins escaped with a 1-point victory over Empire State, and we touched on it during the pregame, but in case you missed it, our EFA standings entering the night up on your screen now. The Dolphins at 2-0. The Gravediggers and the Bandits both trying to move to 2-0. And to match the Dolphins, the Empire State Demon Knights 0-1. The Mountaineers 0-1. One of those two teams will pick up their first win tonight as they go head-to-head in Medford. Of course, the New York Legion off this week. They have opened their season with a record of 0-2. So there's a brief look around the EFA during our halftime break. As you see on your screen now, our score at halftime, the New Jersey Gravediggers 18, the New York Bandits 6. When we come back, the start of the second half from Joseph F. Facina Field. This is PDF Sports Network coverage of Week 3 in the Elite Football Alliance. we are back from Joseph F. Facina Field, where the New Jersey Gravediggers lead the New York Bandits 18-6 at the start of the third quarter. On the side of the Gravediggers, a pair of receiving touchdowns for Jameek Williams from Walik Huffin. And on the side of the Bandits, it was a David Ugarte rushing touchdown that was matched by a rushing touchdown from Lamar Johnson of the Gravediggers. So each quarterback has found the end zone on the ground one time, and Jameek Williams has accounted for the other two scores on the receiving end, Huffin to Williams 2 times in that first half. And that brings us to half number 2. The Gravediggers avoided a catastrophe late in that first half. They fumbled the football, giving the Bandits an extra possession, and New York could not capitalize. They failed to score. They had a chance on 4th down as David Ugarte aired one out deep into the secondary. Just getting fingertips on it was one of 2 Jersey defensive backs. That denied the touchdown, and that brings us to the third quarter. As the kickoff was initially bobbled in the back, Terrell Christian able to gain the sideline. He has some blocking still on his feet. He escapes the pack. He reverses field, and he has green grass in front of him. Touchdown, Bandits! Terrell Christian with an incredible kickoff return for 6. And New York is right back in it. It's 18-12. How did he escape from the near sideline? The amount of yardage he covered on this return, simply incredible. He also somehow did not step out of bounds. That is one of the more remarkable special teams plays we have covered here on the PDF Sports Network. And Terrell Christian has made this a 1-score game. What a start to the second half. And the Bandits will go for 2 with a chance to make this a 4-point game. Strong I formation. And flags fly as that play was going nowhere. So the Bandits commit the false start. They were bailed out there as that play was dead on arrival. So they'll have another try at it from the 7. And the Bandits will huddle and talk it over here. So the Bandits now within 6. A lengthy discussion here following the penalty. And finally they will get set for the 2-point try. Fake handoff. Ugarte immediately pressured. Will have to throw. Heaves it for the end zone. Incomplete. So the 2-point try no good. It remains a 6-point game. The two teams are combined 0 for 5 on 2-point conversions. And with that, we are going to step aside for a quick 30-second break. We'll be right back.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we're back from Facina Field, where the Bandits have pulled to within 6. However, neither team has successfully converted on a 2-point try. And because of that, the score is 18-12. Kickoff was bobbled initially, and the Bandits close in to make the tackle at the 35-yard line. On that return was Alshaquan Floyd. We mentioned his name earlier, was the intended target on one of the early pass attempts from Willie Cuffin. So the Gravediggers take over, now leading by just 6. They had an 18-point lead earlier in this game and had a chance to get the football back and potentially go in front by 4 scores before the first half ended. Instead, the Bandits were able to score and pulled to within 12. They had a chance to score again, and the New Jersey defense held, but now with that last kickoff return touchdown, it's a 1-score game. First down, ball at the 30. Handoff goes to Johnson. Johnson picks up about 3. So I initially thought that the ball was out to the 35. It was, in fact, the 30 on the kick return by Floyd. And on first down, they give Johnson an even 3 on that play, 2nd and 7. Well, the Bandits now have to feel pretty good about where they stand, given where they were about 45 minutes ago. Taking a look outside, it looks like the rain is coming down again. Tyler, after this play, you can go communicate with Pat. We might have to move him inside. So at the conclusion of this drive, we're going to bring our camera inside. Hopefully we can get through this possession, but the rain heavier than it has been at any point tonight. And the Bandits defense once again comes up big and stifles that run in the backfield. So as I mentioned during the pregame, for those who may have missed it, we are going to have to move our camera inside. So what we're going to do here is overlay our screensaver as the camera moves. So I will stay with you via voice, and we will get our camera operator inside. It is 3rd down and 7. This will probably take about a minute or 2, but with the rain coming down very heavily, we have to get him out of the elements. We await the 3rd down snap. It is Huffin looking to throw. He nearly lost his footing, and he is stripped! And the Bandits have it! The tackle is made by one of the offensive linemen. That saved the touchdown. Nate Faison made the tackle following the strip sack, but the Bandits will take over deep in Gravediggers territory as the ball will be spotted just outside of the 20-yard line. A huge play by the Bandits defense, and they will now have a chance to get even. Once again, we apologize for having to cut our camera feed, but we simply could not continue on outside with the heavy rainfall coming down. Our feed should be restored momentarily as we await the Bandits' offense. They will look to get even here as Ugarte throws outside as a screen pass. One man to beat, and the Bandits are in for a touchdown. Errol James catches the screen pass and takes it in for 6. We will try and get you a look at that one as the camera has been relocated into the booth. But the Bandits have drawn even at 18 and have a chance to go in front on this 2-point conversion. And we do have it for you on replay right here. And there you get a look at James catching that screen pass. We tried to get our camera inside as quickly as possible. The Bandits with a chance to take the lead. Pistol formation. Ugarte throws over the middle, incomplete. And we remain tied at 18. We'll get one more look at that touchdown completion. The camera just returning in time. Once again, it was a strip sack by the Bandits defense that set up this scoring drive of just one play. Ugarte to James on the screen pass. And the Bandits have come from 18 points down to tie the score. I mentioned it earlier, but the issues for the Gravediggers really began with their struggles snapping the football. That opened the door. And the Bandits have come storming through to tie the score. They have scored the last 18. The first 6 on the Ugarte touchdown run, 6 more on the kickoff return by Terrell Christian. And on that screen pass, Errol James makes a man miss in the secondary and skipped into the end zone for a touchdown. Will the Gravediggers have an answer? This is Harris on the return. Harris met by one Bandit and several more as he is taken down just shy of the 35-yard line. The Gravediggers' struggles from the first half have extended into this third quarter, and for them, the first about 23 minutes, about half of that second quarter and the entire first quarter, were not plagued by many mistakes at all. And at about the midway point of quarter number 2, they began to have issues snapping the football. The Bandits got on the board, and then they fumbled, and they have not recovered yet. The good news is they had a big cushion, and they will look to go back in front with a scoring drive here. Chance of defense from the Bandits sideline. It is first down and 10. Ball spotted just shy of the Gravediggers' 35-yard line. They once again stack 2 receivers out wide, though this time it looks like they are going away from that stacked formation. 2 receivers wide to the left as they hand off. And that was, I believe, number 4, Nasir Adams on the carry, and he doesn't get much. Bandits defense against this running game has stepped up in a big way since the latter portion of that second quarter. The Gravediggers as well have gotten away from running with Johnson on the early downs. We've seen him move to the quarterback spot on 3rd and 4th downs. But we saw a lot more of him on the earlier downs in the first half. See if they motion him into the backfield here. Instead, it will be Adams. Pistol look. Adams the deep back. He nearly collided with Huffin as Johnson is left wide open. He jukes inside, makes a couple of men miss, and spins out toward the Bandits' 45-yard line. He's tackled at the 46. So the Gravediggers pick up a first down. I should also mention that it looks like their starting center has returned. That would be number 52, Shane Blathers. Blathers left with an injury earlier, and they certainly missed him. That being said, on that last play, it looked like there may have been a bit of a miscommunication between halfback and quarterback. Huffin almost brought the ball up to throw it and collided with the helmet of Nasir Adams. They will hand off to Adams once again here, and he picks up a yard, maybe 2. Looks like they're going to give him 3 as a flag flies after the play, and the Gravediggers certainly believe this one's against the Bandits. The officials will talk this one over, and we will see which way this call goes. Looks like they have this one spotted, set up to be about a 2nd down and 8. And it's going to be a personal foul against the Gravediggers. So they will back up 15 yards. And that one hurts if you're New Jersey. All of a sudden, the Bandits find themselves in good position defensively with a chance to get off the field in a tie game. Blathers appeared emphatic and certain that the penalty was going against New York. Instead, it goes against his team, and they will back up, setting up a 2nd down, and looks to be about 25, maybe a bit less. Make it 2nd and 22. That one a costly penalty for the Gravediggers. And the momentum continues to rest on the side of the Bandits. 2 receivers wide to the left as Adams moves into the backfield once again. Pistol formation. Huffin looking to throw left. Sends one downfield. And that looked to be a perfect ball with his receiver not facing the quarterback. Jameek Williams with a chance to make another huge play, just didn't have his head turned in time. Johnson draws a lot of attention in that 2-wide set along the far sideline. You have to be aware of that screen pass if you're the Bandits. And there was a window between the 2 defensive backs for Huffin to put that football. And from my vantage point, it looked like he put it right on target. That brings up a 3rd down and very long. As we mentioned earlier, it doesn't look like the Gravediggers have a punter. It doesn't look like they have a kicker. They will likely have to go for it on 4th, even if they don't make it a bit more manageable of a 4th down here. 2 receivers left once again. Huffin at quarterback, empty backfield. He will look to throw. He's looking left, running out of time, throwing deep. Plenty of blue jerseys there, and the pass falls incomplete. 5 Bandits against 2 Gravediggers, contesting that ball at about the 15-yard line, and that will bring up 4th down and 22. The sticks do correctly reflect 4th down here, as we had a 5-down possession earlier in the game. Fourth and 22 officially. Looks like the Gravediggers are in the midst of trying to make some substitutions. Johnson lined up as the punter again. Whether or not he is a capable punter, I'm not sure, but I don't think anybody believed he was punting it last time. This 4th down and probably about 7 to 10 yards longer, and he is going to try and run it. He had a hole, but a great tackle cuts down any chance of a 1st down run. Cameron Nicholson, the Bandits' defensive back, makes what may have been a 1st down saving tackle as Johnson is denied on 4th, and the Bandits will take over in a tie game. They now have an opportunity to take the lead. We've been monitoring the live chat up here in the booth as well. A very entertaining conversation going on there. Be sure to check it out over on YouTube. Plenty of activity in the live chat tonight. Fans of both sides making their voices heard, and it's getting loud on the Bandits sideline right now as New York will take over in a tie game. They have scored the last 18 points and have a chance to go in front here. Both teams 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions. And that brings us to where we are right now with the score level at 18. Strong I formation for the Bandits. 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 wide left. Pre-snap motion man was Jenkins, and he is stood up and slammed down. That play went nowhere. And that will bring up 2nd and long, officially 2nd down and about 11. And we have an injured Gravedigger down on the field. Number 24, Tyron Brown, New Jersey defensive back, holding his left arm here. And the trainers will come out and attend to him. But this will give both teams a chance to talk it over ahead of a 2nd down and long. The Bandits with all of the momentum in this game right now. They had nothing going early in this game. A quick interception, a turnover on downs, and 3 Gravedigger scores put them in a big hole early. But they've come all the way back and now possess the football in a tie game. And what has to be the relatively early going here in this 3rd quarter. Keep in mind the Bandits scored very quickly on the kick return, recovered the fumble, and scored again on 1 play. So most of the time that has come off the clock here in the 2nd half came off on this most recent Gravediggers possession. Second and 11. Ball spotted at the New Jersey 44-yard line. Ugarte in the shotgun, trips to the right. 1 receiver wide left, and the referee will start the clock. Ugarte will hand off up the middle. Big hole. Look at the big man go into the 2nd level. DeHorace Addison with a nice run. And he is finally brought down at about the 25. The big man with a big run. That's good for a 1st down, and the Bandits offense just keeps on rolling. Addison has been in there quite a bit tonight as a pass protector. And here you see him get involved on the ground. How about that footwork for the big man? A nice juke in the 2nd level to pick up a few extra yards. He will get another chance here up the middle. And he is tackled for a gain of maybe 1. Once again, 2nd and long. That really hasn't deterred these teams much tonight. We've seen quite a few 3rd down and longs and 4th down and longs. And in those cases, more often than not, the defense has prevailed. Officially, 2nd down and 9. Ugarte back in the shotgun. Addison to his left. 3 receivers on that left side. 1 receiver wide right. He fakes the handoff and throws left, complete. Making a man miss on that play is Jenkins. He's still on his feet. Still going and finally wrapped up. That was a hard-fought inch on that play that he picked up, as he broke at least a couple of tackles on that play. The Bandits looking to set up a screen pass, but that will bring up 3rd and long. Third down and 9 coming up. Ugarte getting instruction from his sideline. As we had a flag called for offside, so hold it right here. It will be 2nd down once again, and that will move the Bandits up 5. So instead of a 3rd and 9, it's a 2nd and 4. Huge swing in favor of New York. Ugarte in the shotgun again. And we had early movement. We'll see if this is coming back 5, and it will. So we went from 2nd and 9 to what appeared to be 3rd and 9, which instead became 2nd and 4, and now becomes 2nd and 9 again. So we've come full circle here, and the Bandits will have what I thought was a 2nd and 9. Now the officials are going to talk about it. The sticks have not been moved yet. They still reflect 2nd and 4. There was definitely early movement somewhere, whether the defender drew the early movement from the offense or the offensive player drew the defender off sides. It looks like the officials may be unsure about. So it doesn't look like the Gravediggers sideline's very happy right now. The ball remains spotted at the 20. And they may have called offsetting penalties here. Can't say I've seen that before if it's the case. I can't imagine that you make a call and then pick up the flag completely in that spot. As for when we will resume play, that is not certain at the moment. The discussion is ongoing. The Gravediggers not happy. Coaches for both sides on the field right now. And when both sidelines are upset, that's never a good sign. But we will wait and see what comes of this. Right now, the sticks remain at the 20, marked for a 2nd down and 4. And you get a look, or you did get a look anyway, just a couple of minutes ago at the elements right now. And up in the lights, you can see the rain coming down heavily over Joseph F. Facina Field. And you have to think that in the passing game, or perhaps in terms of ball security for both teams, the wet weather will have an impact. We've seen it time and time again, covering games in the rain when we've had the chance to do so. I would say one of our most notable rain-soaked games came back in the 2022 EFA playoffs, the Empire State Demon Knights taking on the Harlem Gators. That game was won by the Gators on their way to an appearance in the EFA championship. That championship won by the Brooklyn Pharaohs. The ball has not moved. The coaches for both sides have not left the field. And this has become one of the more unusual situations that I've seen unfold. You would think that when the flag was thrown, there had to be a decision made on who committed the penalty. Initially, it was ruled that it was a Bandits' false start. That now appears to have been changed. The penalty goes against the Gravediggers instead. And it looked like the Bandits were about to line up for a 3rd and 9. The penalty on the prior snap negated the screenplay, and now another pre-snap penalty gives them a 1st down. They can pick up a 1st down inside the 10. Ugarte scrambling left, throws that way, complete. That was awfully close to the turf, but going down to get it and making a nice grab on the play was Terrell Christian. Christian with the big kick return now goes down low to the turf and makes that reception. But there is another flag, and this one's coming back. Those flags, very easy to lose in heavy traffic out there. 1st and 15 now for the Bandits. Unless they got them for a hold, that would make it a 1st and 20, and I think they did get them for holding. So 1st and 20 instead. And the clock now begins to run on the official signal. Once again, 3 receivers set out to the left. Ugarte in the shotgun, flanked by Addison to his right. He will hand off. Addison breaks 1 tackle, gets into the second level, and is brought down from behind by his jersey. They had an armful of uniform, and I'm not sure you're allowed to grab inside of that rear collar of the jersey. If they got him inside the collar, I think that would be a personal foul. If they grabbed him lower on the back of his uniform, I think they're okay, but no flag on the play. And a nice run by Addison, picks up about 13, so looks to be a second and about 7. And that's a big run to get the Bandits back in business offensively. With a 1st and 20 and limited space to work with down around the end zone, it's tough to find the room to convert those. But now with the big gain on the ground, they are back in a 2nd down and manageable. Ugarte in the shotgun, 4 receivers spread wide. He rolls left, looking to throw, running out of time. He escapes right and has running room. He also has a blocker. Ugarte inside the 10, cuts at the 5, and is taken down hard inside the 5-yard line. Goal to go for this Bandits offense, and they are on the doorstep of a potential go-ahead touchdown. Ugarte, time and time again, shows us the ability to escape in situations where it looks so improbable. The window pane almost getting in the way of that one. But Ugarte utilizing the blocker ahead of him and utilizing his speed to gain that edge on the outside. And that will prompt a Gravediggers timeout. And you have to imagine, given the way they played in their first game, the Gravediggers, up 18 points earlier, probably never expected to find themselves in this spot. They pitched a shutout against the Legion during the first week, or I should say the Mountaineers during the first week of the season. The Legion, of course, faced the Dolphins, but the Gravediggers defense put up a shutout against the Mountaineers, and now tonight they've given up 18 points in a very short span of time in terms of minutes. In terms of real time elapsed, that second quarter and this third quarter have taken quite a bit of time, but the Gravediggers defense has allowed the last 18 points and are now faced with potentially allowing 24 straight. The offense hasn't shown much in terms of life since early in the second quarter. And their margin for error just about gone, with the Bandits appears to be about 2 or 3 yards away from the end zone, maybe even less than that. We're positioned at about the 30-yard line of the Bandits. The ball appears to be spotted at the Gravediggers 2. So our perspective a bit skewed. We don't have an updated score from the Mountaineers Demon Knights game at the moment, but last our live chat heard, that game was tied at 6 at the halfway point. That was about an hour ago now, according to our live chat. So I thank them for giving me that information to share. But if we hear any more, we'll be sure to share it. 1st and goal, Bandits. And they will hand off up the middle. Addison looking for room, and he's got it. Touchdown. And the Bandits have come all the way back from 18 points down to take the lead here in the third quarter. It's now 24-18 New York. On that drive, Addison played a huge role. He turned a 1st and 20 into a 2nd and manageable. And he is rewarded with a carry on the goal line. And so far, the Gravediggers defense has had a lot of problems taking the big man down. The score in Medford, 6-6 in the fourth, as the Bandits will make it an 8-point game here in New Rochelle. Misdirection catching the Gravediggers defense by surprise, as Montgomery was able to walk it in all by himself. That is the first successful 2-point conversion tonight on 7 tries. And with the way that New Jersey has struggled to convert on 2-point attempts, that's a big one. As I mentioned earlier, we do apologize for the window pane in the camera shot. Unfortunately, with the rain outside, we had to move our camera indoors. So any obstruction in our field of view, a result of our indoor setting right now. The Bandits have now scored 26 straight points. They lead it by 8. And with a stop here, they can really put the Gravediggers in a tough spot entering the final quarter. At this point, I would guess that we are approaching the closing minutes, or are likely in the closing minutes of quarter number 3. But keep in mind, the Bandits scored twice very quickly in this quarter. Getting set to kick it away is Jashawn Houston once again, and he will send it deep. A good kickoff, received at about the 25-yard line. Johnson looks to take it up the field toward the far side, cuts to the middle of the field, breaks a tackle from a pair of Bandits, and is finally brought down across the 45. Flag down on the field, and we saw this before. They called a false start on the kicking team earlier, and I think we have another, so you can probably add 5 yards to that return by Johnson. And the penalty, I think, was just assessed to the kicking team. They pointed that way, and it is a false start on the kicking team. So the ball is moved up 5, and that will start the Gravediggers in plus territory at the New York 49-yard line. Not often you see false starts on the kick returns. We've seen 2 tonight. And the Bandits will defend this drive, which begins in their own territory, leading for the first time this evening. And you can't underestimate how much that helps out a defense, knowing that you don't have your backs up against the wall in desperate need of a stop. This is Huffin. He fakes the screen pass, throws deep, and incomplete. And you have to wonder at what point the Gravediggers may try and sit down a receiver between the flat and that deep outer third along the sideline. They've tried that screen pass several times, and they've gone to that fake screen and go route up the sideline. The Bandits now have seen that several times, and I think that helps you quite a bit defensively. We've seen the Bandits come out here in the second half getting Addison involved in the ground game. That's something we didn't see as much in the first half. We saw just about every Gravedigger get involved offensively in the first half, perhaps. They showed a bit too much to the Bandits in half number 1. The Bandits have responded well defensively as Johnson takes the toss and is brought down just past the line of scrimmage. Another good tackle by the Bandits defensively. Trying to get a look at who that was in a massive heavy traffic. Those numbers glistening under the lights make it a bit tough sometimes. I believe that's either a 22 or a 32. Both of those players listed as skill position players. But if that is 22, as I suspected, that is Tajay Montgomery. But again, really tough to tell. Playing off of that right end on the far side. 3rd and 8. Huffin throws, and it is intercepted. That one is picked off. Darren Rax Glover with the interception, and the Bandits come up with yet another stop defensively. I spoke about it during the pregame. At no point during week 1 was this Gravediggers team forced to put the ball in the air. That time they are on 3rd and long. The pass intended for Williams, who's had a very nice game, but it sailed over his head and into the arms of Glover. The Bandits right now can seemingly do no wrong. They have scored on 4 straight possessions and have held the Gravediggers without a score on 3 straight. Make it 4. Going back to that fumble late in the first half, almost forgot that one. And now New York will take over at their own 46. Ugarte in the shotgun. Spread set, 4 receivers wide. He will look to throw. He fires over the middle, and that's tipped. Could have been intercepted. Jarvis Rogers, the Gravediggers linebacker, made contact with the football, and that will bring up 2nd and 10. We've seen a balanced offensive attack from the Bandits in this game. But many of the big plays thus far for New York have come on the ground. The run certainly on the table, despite the fact that it's 2nd and long. Addison flanking Ugarte in the backfield. And they will hand it off to him. The Gravediggers were ready for it, but that is not enough. How is Addison still on his feet? He picks up 7 on a play that appeared to be blown up behind the line of scrimmage. What a strong run by DeJory Addison. This Bandits team playing inspired football right now. Addison will get a well-deserved breather as he heads for the sideline. He might be lining up in the middle of that trip set to the left. I think if you're the Gravediggers, you have to watch for that screen here. Ugarte under center, split backs. And timeout is called by New York. When you see Addison lined up wide of the tackle box, I think you have to be on alert for him being utilized as a blocker. Certainly was in a position there to block on a potential screen pass, but a lot for the Gravediggers to think about ahead of that snap with split backs in the offensive backfield. We haven't seen the Gravediggers run any offense under center, if I'm not mistaken. The Bandits have operated under center quite a bit in this game. Not as often as the shotgun, but certainly have been capable of running offense from under center. And with a split backfield behind Ugarte, they were giving New Jersey a look they hadn't yet seen in this game. And now the Bandits offense will return to the field with a 3rd down and about 3, maybe closer to 4. If it is 3, it is a long 3. And in all likelihood, they will have 2 plays to get this. I think that's all but a certainty. Similar look for the Bandits offensively. Going back to that last play, is it possible they had 12 men on the field? Because it's a similar look with 1 less receiver out wide to the left. They will toss it here, and Montgomery has room. He stays on his feet and goes down out across the Jersey 35-yard line. That is more than enough for a Bandits first down. And New York is beginning to assert their dominance on the ground. And that might be the end of the 3rd quarter. And that indeed is the end of quarter number 3, though both teams are taking their time leaving the field. Bandits likely heard a lot in terms of jawing from the Gravediggers early in this game. You'd have to think so. In a 3-score game, they're giving it right back now as the New York sideline is fired up, and that is indeed the end of the third quarter. The third quarter, all Bandits. It began with a Terrell Christian kick return, continued with a David Ugarte rushing touchdown, and New York finally got in front with a third score before this quarter wrapped up. They've now gotten the ball back, and behind 26 consecutive points, the Bandits will take an 8-point lead into quarter number 4. When New York takes over, they will have it at the 35-yard line. First and 10. The Gravediggers looking for answers for this New York ground game, and they're running out of breathing room. A score here makes it a very steep uphill climb for this Gravediggers offense. Ugarte in the shotgun, 3 receivers to the left. Ugarte steps up through the pocket, takes off up the field, makes a man miss into the second level, and he is tackled just shy of the 10. Big run for Ugarte. He picks up 25 on the ground, and we will see if this is a goal-to-go situation or if he was tackled short of the 10, and it will be a first down and 10 to go from the 11-yard line. The Bandits hurry to the line of scrimmage. Ugarte hands off to his fullback, and not much there on the ground. The ball carrier stacked up after a very short gain. That was number 30, Naheem Henry, on the carry. If I'm not mistaken, that's only his first or second carry of the game. Henry, another big back being utilized by this Bandits offense. They've utilized them well tonight. Henry in at fullback once again. They fake the handoff his way. Ugarte takes off. Nobody accounts for him, and he's in for the touchdown. The New Jersey defense was completely fooled on that one. Once Ugarte pulled the football back, they were ready for a pitch. Montgomery was in the backfield as well, and the Gravediggers thought he was getting the football. Instead, Ugarte takes it straight up the field for an 11-yard touchdown run. 32 straight points for the New York Bandits, and they go in front by 14 with a chance to make it 16. Ugarte in the shotgun. 2 backs flanking him. He will look to throw. Fade route. Corner of the end zone is dropped. Errol James nearly made an incredible catch in the back corner of the end zone, but the ball hits off of his fingertips and falls incomplete. The window pane may have obstructed our view, but we saw just enough of it as James nearly made an incredible catch on the 2-point conversion attempt. So the Bandits will settle for a 14-point advantage, and New York has come storming back and then some in this game. What seemed so improbable late in the first half is now reality. The Bandits in front by 14 and have made quite the statement here on their home turf during the last 2 quarters. That being said, still a lot of football left to be played, and the Gravediggers are now in desperate need of a touchdown. Of course, the entire field will be 4-down territory for New Jersey. That's something to keep in mind. But this Gravediggers defense, since the start of the second half especially, has been worn down by the Bandits' running game. They were put in a really tough spot by that turnover. They didn't get a chance to take the field following the kick return touchdown. And the Bandits have found so many different ways to put the ball in the end zone. Now, they have a chance to close out this game with a stop on defense. Johnson receives the kickoff. He surveys, taking his time, makes his move upfield, works inside, and is tackled at the Gravediggers' 45-yard line. So the New Jersey offense takes the field with good field position. And they need a score. No question about it. Probably, say about 12 or 13 minutes left in this game. So if you do get stopped, it's not impossible, but it becomes incredibly difficult. And I would not want to find myself in that position as the Gravediggers, the way the Bandits have moved the ball in the second half. They had the short field following the turnover, but that last drive was an efficient one as they took it straight downfield for 6. Huffin at quarterback for New Jersey here. They go back to the stacked receiver look. Williams and Johnson stacked wide left. Adams was the motion man. Now Johnson takes a few steps in. Adams sent out wide. And timeout is called by the Gravediggers. And we've seen that more than once tonight, where the Gravediggers, in situations where you wouldn't quite expect it, being forced to call timeout. And on the first play of a drive in a game where you trail by 2 scores, you hate to see a timeout burned in that spot. By our tally, they have 1 remaining. And losing that timeout certainly hurts. And I think if you're the Gravediggers now, that just raises the sense of urgency that much more. Knowing that with just 1 timeout, you won't be able to stop the clock more than once the rest of the way, aside from the 2-minute warning. And it puts a lot more pressure on your guys on both sides of the ball, so we'll see how they respond. The way the Gravediggers have run their offense tonight, a lot of pre-snap motion. At times, they've had 2 or 3 players motion ahead of the snap. The way they've run offense tonight, it's hard to envision them running an offense with much tempo. And you have to think that at some point they're going to need to move quickly if they're going to have a chance in this game. So I think that certainly plays to the advantage of the Bandits. 1st and 10. Johnson wants to throw. And he fires an interception. It's picked off for the 2nd time tonight. And up the sideline goes Glover. I believe that was him anyway. Tough to tell on that far sideline. But once again, Darren Rax Glover with the INT. This time he picks off Johnson. And with a score here, the Bandits might be able to put this game away. Whatever adjustments the Bandits have made defensively have worked. Early in this game, the Gravediggers had their way with New York offensively. The Bandits then started to benefit from issues that the Gravediggers had snapping the football. They gave away a possession with a pair of snaps that cost them about a combined 10 yards. Or I should say nearly gave away that possession. I think they did ultimately score on that one behind a Johnson run. However, that's where things really began to unravel. And once the snapping became a problem, the Bandits were able to capitalize. And unfortunately, in the second half, even with clean snaps, the Gravediggers haven't done much on the offensive side of the ball. This football is being moved back. I didn't see if there was a late flag, but if not, you have to think that Glover may have stepped out of bounds a bit sooner than we perhaps thought he did. That return was taken deep into Gravediggers' territory, but instead it looks like Glover may have stepped out, and In fact, it was a penalty against the Bandits. So I didn't see exactly what the signal was, but there was a penalty signaled against New York. 1st and 10. Ugarte back in the shotgun, takes the snap. Under immediate pressure, looks to get away. Harris has him wrapped up. And did that pass reach the line of scrimmage? I don't think it did. They may say the defense caused that throw to come up short of the line, but man, that was awfully close. Tyler Clark, our engineer, speculating that perhaps they could have gotten the Bandits for roughing the passer on the pick. However, they will hand off here. And once again, a broken tackle will net New York a couple of extra yards on that carry. That was Tarshay Hollington on the run. And that will set up a 2nd down and about 5. So whatever the call was following the pick occurred after the play was over. A foul during the play would have negated the pick. So perhaps in the blocking somewhere, I think that's the most likely suspect. Somewhere with the blocking, the Bandits were called for a penalty. So they have a 2nd and 5 here. I should say a 3rd and 5. I mistakenly said 2nd and 5. And that's going to become a 3rd and 10. So the Bandits will back up 5 here. I don't think that changes very much. They still have 4 downs to get this. But it becomes a 3rd and long rather than a 3rd and medium in this spot. Something else to keep in mind here, if the Bandits on this drive can keep the clock running, that helps them quite a bit in getting this game to its conclusion. We're approaching 9:30 p.m. This game started nearly 3 hours ago. Ugarte, empty backfield, looks to throw. Fires right into traffic. And a flag flies as the DB certainly arrived early. On the coverage, it was Kali Brown. The Gravediggers don't like it, but I think that's the right call. We'll see if replay confirms it. A lot of the time, if it's a tie, you'll see the defense get away with that. Another flag comes flying, as we'll get a look at the replay. And I think the defender certainly got there early. So we had the flag for pass interference. We had a 2nd flag come in for unsportsmanlike conduct. It looked like the official pointed over his shoulder. And we'll see here what comes of this. Well, that penalty costs the Gravediggers an extra 15. They've put their defense in a very unenviable position, and it looks like they are indeed backing them up. So the Bandits now will see what initially could have very well gone as an incomplete pass turn into a drastic shift in the field position in their favor. If they were to mark it 15 yards up, that would effectively be half the distance to the goal, but we'll see where the officials spot the football. And if I'm not mistaken, where they moved this ball up 15 yards from the 30, and it looks like they may have even given them more than that, but either way, the Bandits are about at that spot where a personal foul would have been half the distance to the goal. I think any closer than where they were, it would have been half the distance. So they were in the perfect spot to pick up as many yards as possible on that personal foul, and they will snap it from the 14-yard line. So they were just inside the 30 and are given the 14. We still await the first down snap. A lot of standing and a lot of waiting here. But ultimately, I think they got the call right on the pass interference, and that was compounded after the fact by the personal foul against New Jersey. A score here probably puts this game away for the Bandits, leading by 14. First down pass coming up. Ugarte rolls to his left. In trouble. In big trouble. And he is very fortunate to have held on to that football. We've seen how good he can be escaping pressure, but what we've also seen tonight is a very strong resistance to throwing that ball away. And he's had some instances where he's been stood up with the ball in his left hand, and if he's been able to reach the line of scrimmage with that, he could throw it away. I think part of the problem is that he typically rolls deep and wide. And when you do that, you end up in a position where it's really tough to get a pass toward the line of scrimmage. So that sack effectively negates the personal foul and sets up a second down and very long. Ugarte once again in the shotgun. The good news is the clock is still running, and Ugarte will look to run here. He was wrapped up and escapes. Ugarte with a nice move upfield, and he turned what would have been a gain of 1 or 2 into a gain of nearly 11. So Ugarte with a really nice run on that play officially picked up 10. And the officials have stopped the clock here. There is a Gravedigger down on a knee. I'm not sure if there's another player down in the middle of that pile. Both teams making some changes here. And Ugarte has been forced out of the game here. So it looked like the officials may have seen something that caused them to send Ugarte to the sideline, because at the end of the play, I didn't see any other reason for the clock to be stopped. We mentioned it earlier, but David Cruz was getting some throws in on the sideline during the pregame. He has his helmet on, but remains on the sideline. And we will see who lines up at quarterback here. It's going to be Marquise Jernigan's. So Jernigan's, the new signal caller for the Bandits. He lines up in the shotgun. 3 receivers wide to the left, 1 man wide right. Have to watch Errol James in that one-on-one as they will hand off up the middle. And I'm not sure I've ever seen a big man with feet this quick. DeJory Addison has had quite the game on the ground, and it is a lot of fun watching this man run the football. Probably not so much fun trying to tackle him. Addison has shouldered much of the load on the ground for the Bandits here in the second half as Ugarte checks back in, so he's okay. Addison's had quite the game, may get a chance for a score here. He ran it in last time, and free play. Ugarte throws end zone, broken up. So the Bandits had a free play. That was 4th down, by the way. I should have mentioned that ahead of the snap, but I was caught up with my eyes on that last instant replay. And if that penalty was of the pre-snap 5-yard variety. That goes for a first down. And that very well could be the backbreaker for the Gravediggers. They were poised to get off the field, and I'm not sure why they gambled trying to jump the snap there. Ugarte under center may have hit them with the hard count, and when you see the quarterback under shotgun so often during a game, as that snap was fumbled, and the ball is loose on the goal line, the Bandits think they have it. The Gravediggers think they have it. The Gravediggers are leaving the field with the football in hand. The Bandits sideline thinks they have a touchdown. And the officials will have to talk this one over. So we're going to have to get a look at that on replay. There is no telling where that football is at the end of that replay. There were bodies everywhere. The Gravediggers emphatically signaling that it should be their football. The Bandits obviously would not agree. Ugarte right now with his hands on his hips, helmet still on, but not in the offensive huddle. He's more positioned toward his sideline. And right now we stand and wait. I never find it to be a good sign when a call is not made right away, because if you're not going off of what somebody saw, you're going off of the collective memory of a play, and it's really hard to do that, in my opinion, but we'll see. Meanwhile, being helped off the field is one of the Bandits' offensive linemen. That's number 77, Dennis Martinez. And the Gravediggers are going to take over on offense, so it is ruled a fumble and a touchback. So that helps out the Gravediggers quite a bit. So the Bandits fumbled the ball right at the goal line. The official just signaled touchback. The ball is still spotted at the 1, so I'm not sure if they're going to respot this or not, but the signal was certainly touchback. Now, Tyler, we'll go back to the replay one more time and see where the play ended. I couldn't tell where that play came to a close, so let's see. You know what? I think they got it right, because what happened is the ball squeaked out of the pileup and into the end zone. I think they scooped it up in the end zone. Somehow, in the mass of bodies, the ball was not recovered. The ball then squeaked out of there and across the goal line where the Gravediggers picked it up. So I think they got that one right. And the Gravediggers now are in a must-score situation. And they take over at their own 20. Adams the motion man. The throw goes in that direction, but it falls incomplete. And the Gravediggers in this game opened up with a pair of beautiful passing touchdowns. One came off the play action, and I think the Bandits were just caught off guard defensively. The second was a well-thrown jump ball where the offensive player just had a better read on it than the defensive back. Since then, absolutely nothing through the air. I'm not sure they've completed more than one pass since that time. The Gravediggers had it all going their way in the first half, and I think it's fair to say that it is shocking what's happened since, because they looked really good early in this game. As they throw and complete here. Big gain and a fumble. It's punched away and recovered by the Bandits. New York has it. And we'll get a look on replay to see who it was that punched that football loose. 3 Navy jerseys in the area. And as the Gravediggers finally connect on a big passing play, the Bandits take the football right back. I think that was Glover again. I think that was Glover, who has 2 interceptions and a forced fumble tonight. You could make the case he has been the Bandits' most valuable player in this game. What an outing for him. We will get one more look to see who scooped it up as well. But it was Glover with the forced fumble. Here's one last look at it. Tough to tell who's at the bottom of that pile. We can see it. The replay ends right before we get a clean look. Either way, a huge play for this Bandits defense. And they will hand it off here on first down. Not much there. And Hollington was brought down. Well, the Bandits, I think, more than likely, will be content to hand it off 3 times. And with that, 2 minutes would come off the clock, plus the time it takes to run those 3 plays. And I think that would bring us inside of the final 5 minutes as they hand it off again. This time, it is Devontae Taylor, and timeout has been called by the Gravediggers. So New Jersey uses their final timeout. Their backs now firmly up against the wall. It looks like the rain has stopped or at least lightened outside. So I thought perhaps when the rain was coming down harder earlier in the game that it might play a role in a fumble and ball security issues on both sides. And we've seen the Bandits in the second half have forced 2 fumbles. And I neglected to mention when they forced the first fumble, that came right as the rain began to fall, which is the reason that we had to relocate the camera and miss that play. I was obviously here with you on headset, but that play occurred as the camera was moved indoors. The Bandits then got it back on offense and very quickly scored on the screen pass. The sticks read second down. It is third down. About 5 yards to go here, maybe a bit more. And here we go. Shotgun set. Ugarte with one back in the backfield. He spins away from Harris. Looks right and throws that way, complete. But they won't pick up anything on that play. Making the reception was Hollington. And he is well short of a first down. Now, sticks still read 2, but it is fourth down. And we'll see what the Bandits do here. I mentioned before it was likely they'd be content keeping the clock running for 3 straight plays. A good job by Ugarte to find a receiver there and keep the clock running. This is fourth down, low snap. Throw left, tipped, and incomplete. So the Gravediggers should be getting it back here, but again, the sticks on the field read third down, and it does not look like the Bandits' offense is leaving the field. Again, we said it earlier. We went back and checked the replay. They did get 5 downs earlier. I think they're getting 5 downs again right here. They ran it twice, completed the pass to Hollington, and threw that last pass incomplete. This is 5th down again. Ugarte will look to throw. He rolls left and completes. First down, Bandits. This time they do convert on 5th down. And New York may have just put this game away. Tyler is going back and checking play-by-play to make sure nothing was missed. But we had it as 5th down. Again, we said it before. It is very possible there was a flag that negated a play. If there was, we didn't see it. Two-minute warning. So Tyler is continuing to scrub through plays. So the Gravediggers remain on the field on defense, and with 2 minutes left, this game is all but over, barring a catastrophic collapse. The Bandits will throw here, and they pay for it. Jonathan Jenkins on the receiving end of a big hit. Now, we've seen it in the past. Even with the lead, teams do elect to throw late in games. And the Bandits do so right here. Second down and about 8 to go. And they'll hand it off up the middle. And the great night for Addison continues as he picks up another first down. All right, so we did confirm via replay there was an extra down. The Bandits pick up another first down. Inside of 2 minutes to play, Ugarte will take off and run. He has the edge, was grabbed by the horse collar, gets away, and is in for 6 more. The Bandits have now scored 38 unanswered points. And they are certainly enjoying themselves. Rightfully so. I said it earlier. You have to think that the Gravediggers were trash talking a bit earlier. I don't know that for sure. You have to think so, given the way this game was going. And, well, the Bandits now doing a lot of talking following that touchdown, and perhaps some gesturing as well. Thank you. Bandits will line up to go for 2 here. Jernigan's will come in at quarterback. Three receivers to the left. One receiver wide right. Jernigan's will take off. And he will scamper in just inside the pylon for another successful 2-point conversion. So the Bandits have scored 40 straight. They have scored a combined 92 points in 6 quarters to start their season. And they are headed for a 2-0 start, which will tie them atop the Elite Football Alliance standings with the New York Dolphins. So the Gravediggers may not get the ball back here. We'll see if they play out the final minute. Oftentimes, in a lopsided game, they'll call it when the final has been decided. And it does look like we will have another kickoff. So this game will continue. And the Bandits, with their halftime adjustments, completely turn this game around. With that, we'll also get a detailed look at the upcoming schedule in the EFA. Obviously, we have our game of the week next week. The Empire State Demon Knights will take on the New York Dolphins. But looking ahead to the rest of the EFA in week 4, the Bandits will have the Hudson Valley Mountaineers on the road. So New York travels to Hudson Valley. The Legion will face the Gravediggers, looking for their first win, as Johnson returns that kickoff across the 40. So we are going to have pushing and shoving after this play, and you get the sense that this probably needs to be the last play of the game. I'm not sure there's much of a reason to continue beyond a scuffle like this, as players will need to be separated along the far sideline. The officials, at their discretion, can choose to end the game here. And obviously, you hate to see a game end that way. You'd rather see it end in handshakes and embraces, but I'm sure the trash talk game tonight was at its peak, with both teams giving it to one another. First early in this game coming from the Gravediggers, and now late in this game with the Bandits possessing a commanding lead, probably giving it right back to this New Jersey squad, and it looks like this game is over. So it appears we have a final. In week 3 of the Elite Football Alliance, the New York Bandits knock off the New Jersey Gravediggers by a final score of 40-18. We do have a final as well in Empire State. The Demon Knights pick up their first win of the season, 14-6 over the Hudson Valley Mountaineers. So the Mountaineers drop to 0-2. The Demon Knights even their record at 1-1. And with a win next week, Empire State can move into a tie with the New York Dolphins in the EFA standings. As the Dolphins are idle this week, they are 2-0. Once again, Empire State at New York, our game of the week next Saturday. I will be joined on the call for that one by my PDF colleague and partner, David Pizzuto. Until then, this has been Joe Foreman, our engineer tonight, Tyler Clark, our camera operator, Pat Gilorenzo, and from all of us here at PDF, we thank you for watching. Once again, a big win for the New York Bandits. They come from 18 points down, score 40 unanswered points, and win by a final score of 40-18. The Bandits improve to 2-0, and the Gravediggers drop to 1-1. Be sure to catch our Elite Football Alliance game of the week next Saturday. But before that, you can catch us on Friday night. High school football, Old Bridge takes on Piscataway. That game Friday night at 7 p.m. right back here on the PDF Sports Network.